And welcome to the Smoke Break. I'm your host, Joel Palzane, here with Zoe Schwartz.
Hello.
Jasmine Nothing.
Hello.
And Ryan Knudtson.
Hey.
On this episode, we wanted to do a real quick disclaimer, which is to just say that this show is for entertainment purposes only. We work in the field of mental health, but we do not claim to be professionals in this space. Our intention is to have conversations around lived experience, and as a result, we may not always agree with everything our guests say, but we do intend to hold conversations and learning from one another. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, stoked to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you. So you and I share a diagnosis.
Yes, schizoaffective disorder.
Brah, brah.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We're both sick ass beat makers and both schizoaffective.
That's what I was just gonna say. First, I wanted to know how you all know each other.
Yeah.
The hippity hops.
I know, but they don't know.
Yeah.
Hip hop.
Yeah, we know each other through hip hop. We wanted, I've seen like you make a lot of beats and stuff. You've seen a little bit of the music that I make.
Yep.
So yeah.
Mutual respect there, you know?
Yeah,
What do you go by in your music world?
I go by Mob Rule in my music stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, Mob Rule. That has like a certain importance to you.
Yeah, it's, I mean, for easy way to describe it is anarchism. I was literally looking up names and I looked up the word anarchy, and Mob Rule was a synonym for anarchism. So,
yeah.
And I've been an anarchist since I was a 12-year-old, so that's just what it became.
Yeah.
But also it's like anarchy is in the music. There's a lot of different stuff that means.
Okay, so it has a kind of a theme going throughout it.
Yeah.
Carrying those values.
Yeah, the values of that. Yep.
Like that.
That makes sense. Well, with schizoaffective, like how long have you known that you've had it?
So I was first diagnosed with mental illness at 16, and they originally thought I was bipolar.
That's fun.
I turned 18 in a mental hospital thinking I was but I mean, most of my 20s, it was bipolar. And then I would say in the last 5 years, I got diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder. So the diagnosis was a little more on point because my schizoaffective disorder, for people who don't know, is where you have bipolar and schizophrenia at the same time. And in my case, that manifests through hearing voices and yeah, it's, super fun time,
Yeah, absolutely. Just have somebody drop in and do some beat tags,
Yeah. So
yeah.
yes.
Well, I mean, mine I guess manifests with paranoid delusions. So yeah, I mean, I would be so curious just to swap for a day, but God, I should probably be grateful because I can't imagine what that's like hearing voices. Do you see things as well?
No, that can be something that people that are diagnosed with our diagnoses is they have visual hallucinations too. I don't have that. I just have auditory hallucinations.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You ever taken mushrooms?
No, never.
Never. Is it for that reason?
I have friends that have taken that shit since we were kids and still do take that shit. And I actually believe in people taking mushrooms, like microdosing for mental health. And, I've seen it change people's lives and help them get off drugs and all kinds of shit.
Sure.
Like heavier drugs. But I personally just always knew no, there's something going on up here that would not. And I even talked to a doctor about it recently. He's like, yeah, no. He's my neurofeedback doctor, which is a doctor that does brain kind of stuff.
And I should get one of those, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, dude, it helped me out a lot. I tell people about neurofeedback all the time if they can, get it, that kind of help. That medication changed my life. So
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, no, I've personally never done shrooms, but I mean, I made a beat tape about shrooms called That Wasn't a Microdose, where the entire concept is you take shrooms and then by the end of it, you're tripping balls, and all 10 tracks are named after 10 different strains of shrooms.
Ooh.
I know about shrooms.
I was going to say, it sounds like you know a lot about
them. Yeah, I've had friends that picked and grew and, partook in them since I was fucking 12. So
yeah, well, it's interesting. Something that I noticed is I had microdosed a little bit, just as an experiment. And in all honesty, it almost when I'm in a psychosis, it feels like the world is too big. But when I microdose, it feels like it's the right size. It's almost like the craziest, you wouldn't think that this thing would help with this thing. It's it's like when you're too hyper and they give you meth. you know, and they're just like, yes, that'll make things better. It's like I'm too crazy, so I just took crazy drugs and became sane.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing.
It also kind of makes me think of homeopathy. I can't talk.
Homeopathy?
They like give you a little bit of the thing to make the thing go away. Like,
yeah. But I don't know. Like what they say is little bits of poison create the antidote, you know? So it's like, I think of it like that. It's just like maybe a little bit of insanity is what you need to get back to say insanity.
Yeah.
Well, were you also thinking about mushrooms because you were saying about the other day about...
Yeah, I'd had sort of like almost like a theory. So like whenever I've taken mushrooms, I haven't had really strong hallucinations, right? I haven't had like really strong visuals, but I always have like really like trippy head trip stuff, right? Where it's just like, you know, epiphany type shit. And like the thing I was wondering is just like, I wonder if people are affected differently by hallucinogens because like, my schizoaffective doesn't manifest in hallucinations. It manifests as brain stuff. So I was like, I wonder if that...
Well, I have a thought because my psychiatrist is like doing this like training to do all the like psychedelic and even like the like MDMA certification and stuff because she genuinely believes like the way she described it to me was like I've been giving people a Band-Aid by prescribing medication, but like I think if I can get like this down, I'm hoping this can be like the cure for people from what I understand. She believes that. And she told me that when because you know she's trying all this stuff too, and she told me that she found out that she has this, like, I don't know what the name is for it, but basically, like, she struggles to hallucinate. Like, she has to eat a lot more than most people. And there's some specific thing about, like, I don't know if it's called like non-hallucinators. I can't remember. There's certain people with certain types of brains where like they where they can't hallucinate like in the same, or it takes a lot more for them to do it. So I just was wondering, I was thinking like, what if that had something to do with the fact like that your schizoaffective disorder has manifested in the fact that you don't have that aspect of yours? Like, what if it's connected to the fact that when you eat hallucinogens that you don't have that?
I don't have hallucinogens.
Yeah, like maybe it's your brain kind of.
That's kind of like
you're
what
predisposed to one thing and not the other.
Yeah, I was like connecting that. Yeah. I think that makes kind of sense, right? Because I think our brains are like, they all work differently. Some people are more visual. Some people are more, you know,
auditory.
Yeah. What about when you close your eyes?
When I close my eyes?
When you're like, if you eat mushrooms?
It's just, you know, like just shit shooting into pixels and.
But like different than if you hadn't eaten them?
Yeah, like if it's different if I close them, but like it's not much different. It's not like a huge spiraling cascade of blah blah blah. It's not that. I really wish it was.
Balls, man.
I wish it was. I wish
you're not like running from Smurfs and shit.
Yeah. Really wish I was. Well, and that was the first time I ever took hallucinogens. I was looking for that experience. So and since I never had it, I assumed that nobody had that experience of hallucinogens. So whenever I took hallucinogens with other people, I'm just like, I'd be like fucking painting walls and shit, and they're just like, and I'm like, what's going on? How's it going, friend?
I would chill with people on that all the time. They're regular. They're just like maybe a little more happy, if anything.
But tracking back to schizoaffective, so you've been diagnosed with it for a handful of years. What's having an understanding of it been like? Like, how's that contributed?
Having like a more accurate
more accurate. So having a more accurate diagnosis has helped me look back on the history of mental illness I've had. So like when I was 18, I was, you know, there was an experience I had where I was clearly hearing voices, but I grew up in a Christian home. So I would, you know, there was always this struggle between like spirituality and hearing voices. And so, you know, and I had super, you know, what I would consider damaging things where I had like pastors literally pray over me, like, God heal your bipolar. And then that would make me not take my medication and, you know, and then just spiral and, you know, and then just looking back and being, so currently now, ironically, the last 6 months, I've gone back to being an atheist, which I was for a while. Sure. And my mental health has been great the last 6 months. Like ironic, right? Like, you know, I've even told some of my Christian friends about it. And I'm like, look, if there is this God and he made me this way and he couldn't understand that for me to function in this world, I needed to just deny anything that's, if I'm, you know, because it would manifest in like, dead friends talking to me or like crazy shit like that, or like, you know, at my old house I lived in a duplex and I had a way to get to the other side, and it would sound like people were like breaking in and fucking with my neighbors, and I would like go to help them, and then I'd open the door and everyone would be asleep.
Weird.
You know, so I'm considered SMI too, which is something I learned, which means severely mentally ill, and so I'm in like the 5.5% of people in the mental illness realm that are like that, which is super fun.
What makes you? How do they what makes you qualify for that?
Well, so for instance, like I live on disability because of my mental illness, and it's just something that's determined by doctors.
Okay, so it's not necessarily just like it's like how it affects you, like your functioning.
Yeah,
overall.
But I mean, like I should say that's out of people that are like documented mental ill. There's plenty of mentally ill that don't get help and aren't documented, and which is horrible. But for me, it just gave me clarity of like, hey, like, oh, this thing in my head that goes on all the fucking time. It's like, oh, of course it was schizophrenia. That was the piece that we were missing all these years.
Yeah, totally.
So, well, and I mean, I think like understanding that's part of it, because like I didn't understand that I had paranoid delusions. I just thought that everyone was lying to me, and you know what I mean, because I was like, hey, I feel like you guys are fucking with me, and they're like, we're not fucking with you, and I'm just like, yeah, but I'm pretty sure you are.
Now you're lying about it.
And now you're lying about it, and now I know that you're lying about it, and that means it's a huge conspiracy, and everyone's in on it. So it would just kind of like, I never had a chance to like be far enough away from what I was experiencing to understand what I was experiencing.
Yeah,
like if I was always scared of everybody, it
just seems really lonely.
It was for a huge chunk of time. Because, you know, like when you, the thing I always say, and I wanted to turn it into a lyric is, God, I don't even fucking remember it, but it's basically just the idea that like, if your mind gets weaponized, who the fuck do you tell? You know?
Yeah.
If you like people, your friends say don't trust people, or your brain says don't trust people, and people say don't trust your brain. Like, who the fuck do you trust then?
That's totally
Definitely.
isolating. Yeah.
So
I just got goosebumps. That was
yeah.
It's a weird thing to get goosebumps about, but I was like, whoa, that's
but I mean that was the question that like I kind of ran into, is that like if I can't trust my perception and if I can't trust people and I can't trust my brain, then like
what else
what else is there? Where do I live?
Yeah. I dealt with a lot of like self-doubt with like, oh, well, my mind's always playing tricks on me and shit, right? So how do I know it's real? And for me, also having this diagnosis, it weeded out what were real friends and where it weren't. Because like if I'm like at a bar, I'm at a show, I have to be able to have someone next to me that is with me that I can have an honest conversation with and be like, hey, do you hear that over there? Mm-hmm. Is that real or is that in here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's helped out multiple situations doing stuff like that.
Definitely.
But in the past, it wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have ever spoke up about it. I just kept it on here and been paranoid and probably left or gone back home or.
Well, and it makes it way harder to like navigate how to deal with it if you don't know what parts. Right, like having someone be able to help you decide what is a hallucination or delusion. I don't know what
reality testing.
Yeah, reality testing. Yeah, like can really help you feel more grounded in reality because you can separate the two a little bit easier or start to, right? So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Well, like I was at an open mic with Jasmine, and I was convinced that the comedians were telling jokes at me.
Yeah.
You know? So I was just like, they're like, that joke was directed at me. These people aren't just telling jokes, they're telling jokes at me. And I had to leave just because I was so convinced of it. And I remember there was like a miscommunication of just like, hey, is this happening? And it was like, the thing is that like, yes, people were telling jokes, they weren't telling jokes at me, but it was like because I couldn't judge it, and I'm always looking around for that confirmation. It's, you know, I don't know, it's such a reality testing is such an important thing to the people who need it.
Absolutely.
I mean, and
I've had the same thing. I'm at a show and I'm like, that guy just, you know, like someone says something to me and I'm like, is that person dissing me, or is that person like coming at me or trying to fight me, or you know, all these things that go on in your head, and if you reality test though, it's like, oh, hey, maybe that's just in here.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's like, it makes you feel bad for the people who don't have that, you know what I mean? Who just end up in fights because they're convinced that somebody's trying to fight them.
Yep.
You know?
How do you like decide who those people are that like are trusted enough to do that with? Or has it like backfired?
No, it's never really backfired. I put it out there who I am when I meet people, and a lot of these people I've had in my life for long years, and I've also like weeded out the people that proved they couldn't do that in my life, and people that were detrimental to my mental health. So that it was just a process, really. It just, you know.
Yeah.
But you probably have like really solid friendships now.
Oh, I do, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love all my friends a lot. Like and if I need something, they're there for me. And
yeah. I kind of feel like I don't have severe mental illness or like any sort of, you know, the stuff that you guys are experiencing, but I definitely have like my own version of stuff, you know, and I feel like I can be challenging, whatever, maybe that's why I feel like most of my friends, like you like me because I can be a lot.
Yeah.
And I think as much as it's weird to feel like some people don't get you, it's also really nice to know that the people that are around you, they like you, they get you. They're not going to decide that one thing you did, they're just down for the ride.
People are filtering themselves out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you find your tribe.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel the same way, even though it's not the same exact as you.
But it's the same idea of, like the people who stick around are the people who you can trust to continue to stick around.
Yeah.
So
maybe that's a silver lining too of having to struggle with something like that.
Struggling in general, it weeds out who's not meant to be there.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, well, we're going to take a real quick break, and we'll be right back with the smoke break. And welcome back to the smoke break. I'm your host, your old pal Zane, here with Zoe Schwartz.
Hi, I'm here.
Jasmine Nothing.
Also here.
And Ryan Knudtson.
Hey,
we are here for our second segment, and to bring all of the excitement to the second segment, I want to talk about getting into the hospital.
Woo! Oh my God, we did it.
Yeah, that's right. See, we
brought that
up.
energy. You hyped us up.
All right,
I missed a memo.
the mental hospital? Hell yeah.
We're like the metal hospital.
Mental hospital.
So you've spent a little bit of time in there. I've spent a little bit of time in there. It seems like hospitals are supposed to be like a solution, but anybody who's spent a little bit of time in there might have different opinions. What are your thoughts on mental hospitals?
I went to mental hospitals from the time I turned 18 inside of one till every year, three to five times a year into my late 20s. And there was only one of those hospital experiences that was actually helpful.
Wow.
And
there was a lot.
And the only reason that was helpful is because they finally, after trying it a million times, found medication that actually worked. And it was less about the hospital and more about the medication.
Yeah.
I believe that.
But I mean, dude, I've gotten assaulted in a mental hospital. I've had all kinds of crazy shit happen. You go in there and you feel like you're crazy you're going in there and not to what's the word? Like look at people's mental illness and compare, but you see people, you're in there and you're like, holy shit, that guy is off his rocker. And you're in there and you're like, but I'm off my rocker. I'm in here.
Yeah.
And
I've totally had that realization.
What's crazy too is Facebook memories are crazy. I had this one hospital where they had a computer and you could get on the computer. So around this time period every year, actually, I spent 3 months in a mental hospital straight. And so I have all these Facebook posts and my memories that pop up of me posting in the mental hospital. Was like, oh, dude, it's bad.
Visiting that headspace.
Every year because I check my memories every day because I'm fucking insane. I just like doing it because there's sometimes good memes in there and shit, right?
Sure.
And but hospitals are in general not helpful to people, and they make it worse. And you come out and you want to drink or you want to do something to it's like you finally get out of the hospital and you have your meds or whatever, and then it's like, that was traumatizing. I want to get fucked up.
Yeah. You want to untraumatize yourself from the hospital.
I mean, I feel like a mental hospital is kind of similar to the police. Where it's like it's what we do because we can't think of anything else to do. It's like our last option.
Yeah. And it
sucks as an option.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, even when I was 17, turning 18, they put me in handcuffs and transported me from the kids' mental hospital to the adult mental hospital, and they restrain people, and I've gotten put in a straitjacket and thrown in a padded room, and
lots of dignity and autonomy, agency.
Yeah, just stuff that feels great to be a human.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't make you feel better when you're struggling with reality.
Well, and I think my first trip to a mental hospital, I was in fourth grade or something like that, and I had mentioned being suicidal, and they're just like, if you don't take that back, we're gonna have to take you to the hospital. And I was in fourth grade, not
Which
really
makes people terrified of hospitals forever.
Fourth grade,
grade,
Damn,
yeah. I didn't really have a concept of what they were about to do, and they were just like, okay, you said it one more time, so they picked me up, fucking put me in a police car, took me to my mom's house from school, and we're just like, yeah, for real. And then they were just like, hey, we're going to take your kid to a mental hospital. And I remember being in there and just
just instead of just having a conversation with you about what you were thinking and how you were feeling and where you were at with it.
Helpful?
Yeah, it was the 90s. They just
didn't
threw
even do a
Adderall
fucking
at it.
risk assessment.
Yeah,
fix it.
Adderall about
Yeah.
it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so I ended up spending some time in fourth grade. My classmates wrote me letters and stuff like, we miss you.
I didn't didn't know that about you, Zane.
Yeah.
How long were you in there? Like a couple months or a month or
probably a couple weeks.
Jesus, that makes me so angry.
Yeah, that's what this show's for. So we can learn about each other and get angry.
I'm angry about that, dude. Like that.
No, but I mean, I think I like what you said about the police, where it seems like a last option and it's not the best option because, you know, the amount of times that the times that I've gone to a psychiatric ward were times that it seemed like the last option and I'm just like, fuck, I don't know what else. Fine. And every time I go, there usually is somebody there who is, for lack of a better word, crazier than me that makes me feel more crazy.
Yep.
And I'm just like, this isn't helpful. Like, I'm not saying we should be separated, but I don't think that his stuff should be making my stuff worse.
Right.
You know, and I think we should both be allowed to grow and, you know, get better. But I don't know if that can happen in this space where it's I'm losing my sanity. He's lost his sanity and I'm slowly losing mine more.
Right. Like I was making friends with the dude. I remember, I mean, when you're in there, it's all in bits and pieces, right? Because you're manic, right? But I remember when I was in the Seattle Mental Hospital, I was making friends with this dude. We were talking about music and stuff. And then he somehow got a hold of a pencil and he tried to stab me in the fucking mental hospital with it. And then the entire hospital staff had to break us up from fighting. And this is something I had to deal with just being in a hospital.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not
bonus trauma.
Yeah, bonus trauma.
Totally.
You know, and it's just why should a patient have to deal with that?
Yeah, especially when you're already struggling.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that's the idea that you can just throw somebody in a place like that and they'll get better, you know, something that you said that you felt like you got better once you got the right meds, but it wasn't necessarily the hospital environment.
No,
you know,
no, it was when I even realized at one point, hey, I have to act like this to get out of this hospital, or they are going to send me to the state hospital because I've been in here 2 or 3 months, and after 3 months they send you to the state hospital, and then you're really fucked and you really can't get out. Yeah. So I literally faked I learned how to act basically, and was like, I'm feeling great. Yeah, my meds, even though I was still manic as shit, and they let me out of the Seattle Mental Hospital. And then of course when I came down here, I was in another hospital a few weeks later. But I just in that moment realized if I don't do this, they're going to send me to the state hospital.
Well, and it reminds me of almost like drug treatment, you know, where it's just your goal isn't to make sure these people are able to function outside of being in treatment. Your goal is to make sure that they answer the questions correctly while in treatment.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then go to the next
To have
treatment.
successful numbers.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. The successful numbers. They said they were all right. They left, and you know, it all looks good to us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and I can tell you as a therapist, when you first start working with somebody, you don't get to know them until you start. And I have to do a whole assessment on this person and diagnose them. And I'm I just, I try to do the most anxiety, depression, because I'm I'm not going to decide. If you have anything beyond that and I still don't even feel, sometimes it still feels icky to even have to do that because it's why do I have to make you mentally ill to help you? That sucks. Right. You know what I mean? But just the amount of information
for capitalism and insurance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the amount of time it takes to get to know someone to actually really figure out, I'm I'll be at the point of doing annual assessments and I'm I knew so much more about this person than I knew. And it even took, and sometimes it takes 6 or 8 months before they trust you. So they're not going to talk to you about, and so it's there's just so many layers and then things happen in between, you know what I mean? It's just anyway, it's just really.
And even assessments, I was just thinking I've definitely sat in on people doing assessments where I know the person really well and the person doing the assessment doesn't.
Oh yeah.
And hearing the information, I just remember one person was asking the kid I was with about her relationship with her mom and was have you talked to your mom recently? That's a yes, no question. So it was no. Okay, and then just moved on. But the mom was dead. The reason she didn't talk to her mom was because her mom had died.
And
that was a huge piece of her trauma and a huge piece of why she was using drugs and why she was in the situation she was in and et cetera, et cetera. But not having that additional context. But you don't know that unless you ask 1,000 questions. And then that makes an assessment too overwhelming anyways. And you're you're talking to a brand new stranger with all this personal information. It's probably the 5th time you've had to because you've talked to the person at the front desk and then you talk to the person inside and then you talk to all the different layers of telling your story in order to be able to get seen or help
noticed.
Yeah. I think it's definitely it's challenging, but I'm glad that you all both after all that found out something that found out a diagnosis that feels accurate and feels it helps you understand yourself and
I mean it took me literally 15 to 19 years,
Well,
you know, but
Yeah.
I have a question. Did you get any like therapy before, like consistently before you had, I mean, it sounds like you experienced like going to hospitals a lot, but like was before you ended up going into hospital the first time, did you ever have a therapist?
So, I had someone that diagnosed me. I had therapist. Yeah, I just had someone that diagnosed me with. I did actually. I had a therapist as a teenager for a little bit after I got first diagnosed with mental illness, and then, I bounced around from different. So I was lucky enough that my parents could give me, mental health treatment.
Yeah. That's what I was getting with.
Access. Which I was very fortunate. A lot of my friends were not so fortunate.
Yeah.
And that's honestly why I was able to get on disability, because it was documented that I had a mental illness and I had been going to counseling and I had the things and I had the paperwork, and it's actually really hard to get on government assistance. And that was the only reason I was able to get on it, because I had a history of losing jobs because of mental illness, and I had a history of going to the mental hospital, and a history of doctors writing prescriptions and diagnosing me with stuff.
Yeah.
And I was lucky to have that.
Yeah, because you all both mentioned like people that don't have access. Yeah, people, and then you see those people slipping farther and farther, and it's like totally has to do with privilege, and there's so many things that contribute to that.
I've also seen the opposite of that, of like people who were like very far out there, like very far out there, like show back up and be like almost unrecognizable with like their grasp on reality
without
and just,
treatment, or
with the support. I don't know if it's with necessarily treatment, but with support.
But once they got it,
like seeing them without support, they're like, just like covered in feces, like muttering to themselves, like just really fucking struggling. And then like once they have the support, like dressed up, like full sentences, just like all the way there. And it's like, it's so hard to see that like with a little bit of support, somebody like me could be doing so much better if they just had the support.
Totally. Yeah.
And there needs to, and that's what a hospital should be, is a place of support, and it's not. And and you should have places outside of that hospital that give people support, and it's not how it works.
And that was kind of the thing we talked about last time you did go to the hospital, was like, what did you get out of it that we could recreate elsewhere without the lack of dignity
That's
part?
a good way to think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What did you determine? Was there anything helpful?
No, it was, I needed to be able to sleep and be able to like almost like have outbursts without it like affecting the rest of my life. Like I need to be like, fuck, I just need to be like scream fuck at the ground without it like causing my entire life to crumble.
Yeah. Was it medication that helped you sleep, you think, mostly?
They had overamped me. Last time I went to the hospital, they'd given me too much of the wrong med. And so it was just getting off of that med that eventually had me calm back down. But but while I was doing that, like I was like kicking and screaming like in a fucking bed by myself, just like wrestling through whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
And I just needed a space to be able to do that.
But like, what if you were allowed to do that somewhere else?
That's what I was
where
trying to
you were
think too,
also
like,
allowed to have video games and your own clothes and smoke weed and
all the other things that
make
help.
music, or just any of the other like stuff that makes you feel like a person.
Exactly. So
and get to wear your own clothing and stuff, right? Like
exactly. Yeah. Just have all your dignity and your autonomy and all of that stuff, because that's the stuff that kind of gets stripped away in a hospital, where they're just like, well, all this stuff is extra, so we're just going to pull it away. It's like,
I think in a hospital you should have a place where you can just go and like fuck off and be by yourself. You don't really get that in hospitals.
No, they don't really.
You have like, I've had like roommates in hospitals, or like, and then you're downloading all their bullshit while you're dealing with your own bullshit.
I was lucky enough the last time I stayed, I had my own room, but I've definitely the time previous to that, I had shared a room with somebody who was oftentimes muttering to themselves and is like, I'm trying to go to sleep, and now your thoughts are my thoughts. And so yeah, hospitals, they're tricky. They're tricky. We definitely have some work to do on them, but I mean, we gave you an honest review, so step your shit up, hospitals.
Hospital guy.
Hospital
in your court,
Mr. Hospital, dude. Coming for you.
All right, we're gonna take a real quick break, and we'll be right back with the smoke break. And welcome back to the Smoke Break. I'm your host, your old pal Zane, here with Zoe Schwartz.
I'm here still.
Jasmine Nothing. And Ryan Knudtson.
I think I'm here.
All right. Now I'm questioning it. So for this section, we like to do a little segment called You Probably Are, where we read a story off of Am I an Asshole? And this story will be read by Jasmine Nothing.
It's a real short one this time. So I'm just going to get right to it. I'm a 25-year-old female, and then my boyfriend is a 28-year-old male, and he likes to be called daddy in bed while we're being intimate. I've obliged this request before, but it's starting to creep me out, and I've decided I don't want to do it anymore. He is not happy with this and insists it has nothing to do with the connotation of the word. He just simply enjoys hearing me say it. Since he won't budge on the issue, I told him I'd like for him to call me grandma in bed as a compromise.
Yes.
He didn't like this option and said it was giving him visuals he would prefer not to have. Like, okay, join the fucking club. Anyway, the last time he tried to initiate intimacy with me, he refused to do it. So I started to refer to myself as grandma in the third person. Do you like when grandma does that?
Oh my God.
And he flew off the handle, said I ruined the mood, made him feel gross, and I was being ridiculous. I think I proved my point, but he thinks I'm being an asshole. So am I the asshole?
Oh, he's the asshole for sure.
Jesus.
He's being a hypocrite.
Maybe you just say some douchey shit like, maybe she was a gilf, dude.
Yeah.
He's being a hypocrite, and he's not respecting her preference. She's like, no, that doesn't turn me on. He's like, well, I need it. Well, fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
Yeah. Big fuck you to that.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm going to call myself grandma now.
Yeah.
That is the most creative solution that I've ever heard to a problem.
I also had this happen to me one time, and I was like, okay, we don't have to do that anyway. Like, he was like, can I call? And I was like, I don't want it. No, don't call me mommy. That makes me feel weird.
No.
And then he was very fair to ask me to stop the other way. But he didn't. But it was, whatever. Anyway, I feel weird sharing this, but it's funny because I really
Is this your story?
had this personal experience.
You posted this.
No, but there was consent involved. Nobody was making anybody do anything in our situation.
But yeah, but
I did learn it.
The biggest thing was that is consent, right?
Yes,
like
exactly.
she's not consenting to that, so fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Find somebody who wants to call you daddy, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I do like the
I'm sure it exists.
Yeah.
I think.
I like the gender reversal because like within a male-female relationship, there's power in the and so it's interesting how it's, and that's also why it's hot because power play stuff, But anyway, it's just interesting how being called mommy is not nearly as hot.
There's a comedian who has a joke about that.
I mean, there's power in being called grandma.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's the OG.
But maybe not sexually, though, right?
Yeah,
Like
grandma
no.
Yeah.
Grandma's cookies are fire.
Yeah.
I would love to be called a grandma in certain scenarios. Maybe not that one.
No,
maybe not that one.
Not in that one.
Did we agree that the guy was the asshole, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's the only time Zane has not just been a contrarian about it.
Yeah, no, I had to jump on that one.
I know, because that one was that one's funny though.
Jesus.
Also,
Christ.
she's funny.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to jump right over to dual diagnosis. Sometimes your diagnosis can be from mental illness stuff. Sometimes it can. Sometimes some symptoms can manifest because of substance-related stuff, and sometimes you can have a mixture of the two.
Mm-hmm.
The best of both worlds.
The best of both worlds. as we like to call it.
Comorbidity. Is that
That's
another
right.
word, right? Yeah.
Comorbidity.
Sounds way less fun.
It sounds like you're dead twice, right?
Yeah.
Two people dead together.
Double tap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it just means having two things at the same
Romeo
time.
and Juliet. Yeah. Dual diagnosis. I don't know. I guess I was talking a little bit about taking hallucinogens earlier. Maybe not a great idea had I known that I was schizoaffective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it could have caused things to manifest differently.
Mm-hmm.
I know with marijuana, I definitely paranoia is a real one that I didn't realize people get paranoid when they smoke pot. I have an extra level of paranoia.
Right. Yeah.
Yep, that would always happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was always hard to judge. It was hard to judge whether or not it was just weed paranoia or if I was actually experiencing delusions.
Yep.
And therefore I didn't even notice that I may even have schizoaffective until I stopped until I was sober from certain substances and was still experiencing those symptoms.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I for me, I was a straight edge kid when I was a teenager, so I started experiencing symptoms just because of my neurological imbalance, and then I turned 18 in a mental hospital, and then the day I got out, I walked to my friend's house, smoked cigarettes, smoked weed the next day, and then in my case, I drank every day until I was about 27 for 10 years basically after around 10, 9 years technically, but literally every day, because I learned from a doctor that schizophrenia is actually and bipolar. When you drink, there's something in alcohol that actually soothes, like it basically soothes the problem for a little bit. But then when it wears off, it exacerbates it.
Yeah,
so
makes sense.
In my case, I just do it all the fucking
drink
time.
Forever.
Yeah, just drink. I mean, I literally drink forever. Drink till I pass out, fall asleep, wake up, drink, and then
I love that song.
Yeah, drink. Just the drink song. No, but
Wake up, drink.
Yeah, wake up, drink, drink. No, but like, and then that caused physical stuff. I've had 8 heart surgeries because of my drinking.
Sure.
And so there was physical problems to my mental problems.
Wow,
So
yeah.
and I've been sober 7 years now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But that took I never thought I'd be off that cycle.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, like you said, like it was helping with certain parts of it, and that's what I think that like people don't understand with people who use substances, especially who are already experiencing symptoms, is that like it is helping with a part of it.
Yeah. People think you're just being a drug addict, and it's like, no, you're literally soothing your fucking brain.
Yeah. Like if you're depressed and you're drinking, people are like, well, you shouldn't be drinking when you're depressed, and it's just like, but I do want to feel better, and I am depressed.
Yeah, they're like,
it makes me feel better.
Yeah, it's a depressant. Don't drink when you're depressed. It's like, cool. It makes me numb.
Yeah. So you're saying I cannot feel all the things I'm feeling? Great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Substances are just really good at what they do. They're effective.
Yeah, well, and that's a whole harm reduction thing, right? Like people use drugs because that's the best
For
tool
good
they
reasons.
have at a lot of the time. Yeah, it's the best tool they have. Yeah.
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 I mean, I know that like with marijuana, like it would help with certain parts of my paranoia and exasperate other parts of it. So it was understanding that like, okay, this is something I can do with close friends. This is something I can do. I can smoke weed with people I can reality test with, basically, is like the rule. Like if I can't say, are you fucking with me, without them getting offended that I'm asking if they're fucking with me, then that's not the people that I can trust to be able to use around.
Yeah, which is fair. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like for me, like I was really weird about smoking weed around people. Like I couldn't, I there was very few people I would smoke weed around when I did smoke, and it was the same thing. Sometimes I eventually stopped doing that before I quit drinking because it would exacerbate voices in my head and shit.
Sure.
And I learned to recognize that and I'd get mad paranoid. I mean, because besides schizophrenia, I have PTSD. I have a bunch of other shit too. Over the years, but it just weed never really agreed with me. But alcohol, dude. I mean, like, even to this day, I haven't drank in 7 years, and if there was a way I could get a new heart, I'd probably fucking, I'd probably fucking try. But it's literally a life or death issue with me. If I drink, I die, so I don't do it.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that also like speaks to how much it was helping with some of the symptoms.
Yeah,
is that like if you would go back to it that easily after having quit for that long, then like how much was it helping with the things that you were that you were seeking to soothe? Yeah.
I mean, like if I was still dealing with the amount of that shit that I was dealing with in that time period, I would absolutely still drink. Yeah, because I saw something the other day. It was like another addict posting about like being sober, and it's like, people always look back at like with their addict phases, like, oh, that was the old me. It's like, no, that was me. That was me getting through what I had to get through with what I had, the tools I had.
Yeah,
I mean, it is a coping skill.
Yeah, I think
exactly.
I wish more people understood that.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I think, I don't know, there's always like, what is it? There's always like this pressure put on like healthy coping skills and unhealthy coping skills. And it's just like, coping is fucking hard enough to do anyways. Like, why do I have to fucking label this? Like, if I'm making it through the day and my goal is to survive each day, then like I did it.
Right.
And it's not like coping skills are either like those are the options, like healthy or unhealthy. It's a spectrum.
Yes,
so like this is going to be healthier than this other thing that you used to do. It might not be the healthiest thing you've ever done.
Yeah. Well, and it might be different.
Much worse.
And it might be different for different people. Like I have friends that used to do heroin and now they smoke weed and do shrooms, and that's their version of sober. And I consider that
does
sober.
it increase their quality of life?
Totally.
Absolutely does.
Then who cares?
They haven't done heroin in a long time, and they're on shrooms and they're on fucking weed, and they're not they're better people for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you would get some conservative. I don't know if necessarily conservative is the word, but just a person that's hardline about being sober, and they'd be like, well, that's not sober. It's like, no, that's
even leftists sometimes are hard lines about sober. You know what I mean? Because it's just like
recovery purists.
Yeah, recovery purists. That's a good one.
That's the one. Yeah. Because I think, I don't know. That's why I always had a problem with like recovery purists, is because it's not understanding of, I'm doing better. I'm not doing your version of the best.
Yeah. I have a close friend that recently got sober and like has had a couple slip ups, and I think I'm like one of the only people that they've told, because they know that I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, you did that for a really long time, and now you're facing all the things that you've been through without that, and that's really hard. And like, how can I support you to try to get you in a place where it feels like you're less likely to do that, but I'm not like, oh, I can't believe you did that,
Well, and that's normal.
Yeah,
relapsing when you get sober is normal.
Yeah,
that happens to literally everyone.
Well, and having someone say, okay, how can I help you try to not do that again if that's what you want to do, is so much better than someone being like, well, you're fucking done. You can't come back here. You're not sober anymore, or whatever it is. Or like, you fucked up, so you're not doing the work you said you were doing, or something, Like.
And the problem I see oftentimes with like a lot of the rooms, is that, recovery spaces and stuff like that, is that like, you lose community and family when you start using substances, or you start struggling with mental illness, and then you lose a new community and family when you lapse or relapse. So it's like you go from, oh, I lost my family, everybody hates me, and well, we'll be your new family, we love you no matter what. It's like, no matter what? And it's like, well, I mean, and then all of a sudden you're alone again, and it's like, well, what do you want to do when you're alone? And you feel bad.
Well, because you have friends that are only your friends because you're sober, and you have your friends that are only your friends because you do drugs.
Exactly.
And there's this fine line, and
yeah.
I've
experienced a lot of friends that are only your friends because they're your friends.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Well, were you all also thinking just like in general, like having two different types of diagnoses too? Or were you thinking specifically of like
just the
addiction?
The interaction? Yeah. Like substance use and mental illness.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I was like, I could say something about me, but that's not what I was. Do you want me to say it?
Yeah.
Say it.
I was thinking about I could go that direction too, but I was thinking about having depression and anxiety in my whole life, and then trying to treat it. And then finally, I was told I had ADHD, but I was one of those people who's like, is it real? I don't know. And then finally my therapist being like, I think maybe the reason that you've done all this work and you're doing such a great job and it's still really hard is because you also have this other thing that's making those things worse. And maybe if we don't address that, it's never going to really feel like you treated. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. So I'm not just never gonna not be anxious, So I think in that sense of dual diagnosis, even though that's not exactly
just
what
understand.
you meant.
No. But I mean, I think understanding that what the challenges that you're facing can be from maybe not the thing that you're working on right now.
Yeah, or they overlap too, and that's complicated to treat too. I think, right? Yeah. So
I was thinking spinning your wheels, if you're putting all the work into doing depression, anxiety work or bipolar work or whatever the thing is, that's just spinning your wheels constantly, and then actually figuring out what the accurate diagnosis is. That is the thing that needs to be worked on. That's what finally gives you traction to make all of it work, and then to start moving forwards.
Totally. Yeah. And it's been a long journey to figure it out too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's a matter of being okay with wrong diagnosis, just being okay with people being wrong and being okay with you being wrong, because I thought that I had / didn't think that I had like a whole bunch of diseases. Like I didn't think I had ADHD because everybody got it diagnosed in the 90s. I didn't think I had bipolar because everybody got diagnosed in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that I had any of these things. And then through time and my own personal experience and being able to like look at like, okay, if this is by definition what it is, and this is by definition my experience, maybe I might.
Yeah, maybe it adds up. Yeah,
exactly.
I do this. I do the same thing. Like you told you this, and you're like, what does that mean? Okay, whatever. And then you go about your day, and then when you do things that help with those different things, you're like, oh, I really was these things.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's where I think that the diagnosis part of the diagnosis part of it is getting diagnosed is an extremely important part, just because it helps answer so many questions.
Right.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, excellent. That has been the Smoke Break. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. I've been your host, your old pal Zane, here with Zoe Schwartz.
I've been Zoe Schwartz.
Jasmine Nothing.
The whole time, yeah.
And Ryan Knudtson. Later, players.
There was a peace sign.